Good afternoon, everyone. पीछे का बैकग्राउंड सब अब ठीक है, ब्लर हो गया. Okay, the background was bad. Okay, everything is in order. Okay, let us start the class then. Just give me a second to upload the PDF.
Then I think today's camera use DSLR camera you are using.
Sorry, you are saying something? Yeah, it's, no, but it's just a normal camera for the PC, not a DSLR. The CBS. तो तुम लोग आपस में लग गए. चलो शुरू करें. अगर चिट चैट हो गया थोड़ा सा, चलो शुरू करें. Okay, so we have to start just I think everyone can see me as well as the screen. I hope everyone can see me. Okay, very good. Let's still try it. So let's start. The student will join in time if required. Okay. So 7 October the 13 we were doing in earlier current event also. I missed one news which I wanted to cover, so I'm covering here also. Like a language issue in education. For that, starting that, I want something you to tell me, which laid the foundation of India's education system. During British time, there was a particular committee, a minute something, minute karke. Can anyone tell me what was the name of the committee or the minute something which laid the foundation of today's education in India? No one. No one. Please, sir. Yes, number Macaulay. Okay, it was Maculae minute. Yes, it was maculae minute. So basically, we all know this. That what happened. Okay, in education, I always say one thing: education is a guarantee of liberation. You may not feel the essence of liberty by any other measure except education. That's why Ambedkar, we all know the Ambedkar. He laid emphasis on three principles. The principle he laid emphasis on: educate, organize, and agitate. The first principle is educate. Ambedkar believes that the Dalit in India are suffering basically. He believes that they are being suppressed by this Brahmanical system. For Ambedkar, Hinduism is not a proper understanding. Hinduism is actually Brahmanism. For Ambedkar, so he emphasized that a revolution is necessary, where the depressed class in India, the Dalit, must revolt against the Brahmin. But his mechanism of revolution was constitutional, educational. He did not advocate a violent revolution that you take up arm and fight against your oppressions. No, that was Mao did. Mao is a person who is responsible for Chinese Revolution, or Lenin in Russia. He was responsible for Russian Revolution. So he was Ambedkar had different approach of educate, organize, agitate. This gives the significance of education, something he understood. Education liberates your mind, but remember this: same education can imprison your mind. Education liberates your mind. Same education can imprison your mind. Example, very good example, something we understand: propaganda. I hope you people remember we discussed in earlier current event classes about the news media. How the news media that we have, it creates radicalization. It creates a functioning where people become so radical that they start treating their own compatriot, own citizens as enemies. You people remember how this circle of radicalization works through media and social media? Anyone? सब भूल गए 2-3 class we just missed the news and everyone forgot. You do tell, it becomes hard to understand. Very good. Okay, so macular minor, what happened during India's independence is Britishers, initially East India Company came to India. You will study that in detail in basically modern history. We just have a glimpse over it. So what happened when Britishers came to India, East India Company particularly, they had a very confusing approach. Initially, they came as a company doing economic business in India. Over time, they realized that they have captured a lot of territory. Once they captured the territory from an economic company to they become political power. From a company, they become a political power. Now, there's a problem when you become a political power. You have to govern. Understand it's like this. For example, you live in this is a compound of a company, private company. It does not care if a beggar is sitting just outside the compound. It is not the concern of company, but that person is the concern of the government. That's the difference between a company and a government. The government has to cater to the people, all the people. Governance mechanism, as we call it. So when the British East India Company became a political power in India, they became a bit confused. Ki bhai, India is a big country. We are few Britishers. Just Shubham, we are discussing that. I am coming to that. I am just laying the ground. Why this language barrier is there. So what happened is, Macaulay committee was established. Macaulay suggested that we want educated Indians. We want, but we do not want them to be that much educated that they start revolting. What he said is, of course, we are looking for educated Indians because the government has to maintain administration, the staff that has to run in government, work in government, must have some level of education. Otherwise, how will they carry out files, science, and all? So we need them, but we do not want to educate them to a level they start revolt. They start a revolt against us. So Macaulay Minute came. So Macaulay Minute found a solution to that problem in English. And that lays the foundation of today's English education, the way I am communicating to you, the way you have subscribed to the course. He suggests, why don't we use a language, English? Officially he gave the argument that Indian languages are not sufficiently developed to be used to teach Western sciences. But we all understand the political reason was that once English is there, so whom you will understand better? Understand if you're an Indian and you are taught in English, then whom you will understand better, the British values or the Indian values? Anyone? Of course, British values. That was the reason. They thought we should have an English education in India. By this, the people that we will get, they will understand our values, our culture better than their own culture. So basically, English was used as a mechanism by the Britishers to American or to Europeanize the Indians, and that's why in history you will study about moderates. There are three factions in Indian freedom struggle. One is moderate, then militant, and lastly extremist. Just a second. Give me a second, guys. Okay, very sorry for the disturbance. So let us resume. So I was at the Macaulay Minor. Macaulay Minor laid the foundation of today's English-based education that we all understand. Take a Macaulay Minor. It laid the foundation of today's English-based education that we understand, and that's why we divide. If you know, we divide Indian freedom struggle into three parts: moderate, militant, and extremist. Sorry, militant, moderate, extremist, and revolutionary. Militant and extremist is the same thing, and then revolutionary. Revolutionary or militant. Revolutionary basically आपका भगत सिंह is an example. So moderate, these were the people like Dada Bhai Naroji, Surendranath Banerjee. These were the people who brought this faction, and these people believed that British rule is basically a blessing in disguise. Means they believe that British rule is good in India. It is time to bring civilization to the Indians. So you cannot call them anti-nationals. It's obvious they were supported Britishers. The logic was they were embedded in this Macaulay Minor-based English education. They praised British values because they understood British language better than the Indian. However, over time we got various people, especially extremists, who debunked this myth. Now, that's clear the significance of education, language of education. We have taken an example from history to understand this. Now you will understand the significance of this news. Okay. So basically what is the news is simple. The Ministry of Education has appointed a high-powered committee named Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti to prepare an action plan for the growth of Indian language as is given in National Education Policy. Very, very important. I have included National Education Policy completely in the notes and various features and criticism and all. Very, very important. Do cover National Education Policy in detail. In 2020, when this policy was brought, this question from National Education Policy was asked in 3 GS papers. The GS2, 3 and as well as in GS4, Ethics. So it is that significant. In 3 GS paper, you got one question about National Education Policy. Dimension varied. In ethics paper, it was from ethical perspective, governance, it was from governance perspective, but it was questioned directly on National Education Policy. Very, very important. Cover this in detail. So basically what government is doing, we know current education in India is biased in favor of English. Everyone knows that. So to understand how we can propagate Indian languages, for that the government has appointed a committee. Now please, can anyone tell me, is there any constitutional requirement to do this? Is there any constitutional requirement to propagate native languages? Anyone has any idea about that? Say, what is the national language of India?
Sir, India doesn't have a national language, it has official languages.
Okay, it has 2 official languages, English and Hindi, as per constitution or what?
That I do not know, sir.
Okay, it is as per official language. Official language Act 1963. As per Official Language Act 1963, India has 2 official languages, English and Hindi. The official language means a language in which the government communicates with each other. That's official language that is used for the work of office. Official language. We have no national languages. We do have 22 recognized languages. Can anyone tell me in which schedule we have these languages? Yes, schedule 8. Exactly. So remember, along with this, remember that it is a constitutional mandate that the union government, it is a constitutional requirement. Constitution provides that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union state. Because it also defines that Hindi should be promoted as the only official language. The union has been given, that was Article 1 I was talking about, it is different. It says, the constitution clearly says that the union has the responsibility to promote Hindi as a lingua franca of India. That's the problem. The problem recently, I think some of the chief minister from the south, they have openly written to the Prime Minister of India that the comment made by the Home Minister that Hindi should be the national language is not acceptable, and which I also believe is not acceptable. Why? Again, the logic, we understand everything. I always tell you, self-governance is the key. Or language is a very personal thing. Language is a very personal thing. It is what you are. If I take away your language, then I will virtually erase your essence, the identity you possess. So language is a very personal thing, especially for the people of South. I believe आप सबने polity में पढ़ा होगा, state reorganization that happened. It was basically on the language criteria because of the agitation the southern state did. So this Bhasha Samiti, it is being seen, the criticism is, it is being seen as an attempt to basically propagate Hindi over other languages. The government denies that, of course. यहाँ तक सबको clear है, the various issues that this news touches, the governance, आपका internal security and all. यहाँ तक everyone clear, no doubt ना? Then I will move quickly. It appears no one has a doubt. So this is the thing that constitution mandates union government to promote Hindi, but government appointed Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti to promote, basically the logic is to promote Indian languages. But as you can see from the name itself, it is Hindi name. Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti, it's Hindi. Okay. You want to promote national languages of India, the regional language as well, then you name the committee Bharatiya Bhasha language, a Hindi name basically. So that's why the southern states are very apprehensive that it could be it could lead to imposition of Hindi. But anyway, we do need to know these provisions, which are the focus of the committee for promotion of regional language. We will look it as an issue of regional language. First is bilingual. It has said that you should prepare teacher to be bilingual. Currently, if you know this, for example, I take my example. I have lived entire life in Delhi. I was born in Delhi. I have spent my entire life in Delhi. I'm delighted by every standard. So my natural tongue, my mother tongue is Hindi, of course. But I have come to such a level that I can write in English. I am well versed in English. Basically, it is like my natural language. But when it comes to Hindi, a language I was born with, a language that is my tongue, mother tongue, I find hard to write, even read. I can, but it's hard for me to write and read. I'm not saying I'm illiterate, I'm saying it's hard. This is the problem. I'm a prime example of that problem, that I am so versed in an alien language like English, which was not in India, but I am not well versed in my own language. Why? Because since 12th, I have studied Hindi up till 10th. After that, I have never studied Hindi, never touched Hindi, never wrote anything in Hindi. So how could I remember that language? It has gone out of practice. That's the logic. Clear? That's why they are suggesting they promote everyone to be bilingual. Take a second thing, language as a qualification. This is another thing. Again, my example, I find it hard to write Hindi, very hard. That happens. So basically, read to I can to some extent, write even I'm very bad. So the reason is because language is not a qualification. I know this. To become a UPSC teacher or anything, I do not have to know any particular regional language. I don't. I communicate in English, and I know UPSC's English exam. Okay. We all know it gives you edge. If you're preparing in English, you get a lot of content, and that is another problem. That first problem is people. Another problem is that people have good access to English content. You all know this. You prepare in English. The content you have on internet is very easy. For other regional languages, you will find very hard to get the proper content. In English, there is no limit to content, and that's the peculiarity that the world does not speak English. The world speaks different language. English is a very small section, but yet most of the content on internet is English. And lastly, even look at UPSC. Forget about everything. Forget about the word UPSC. What UPSC does, UPSC writes paper in English, then it translates in Indian languages, including Hindi. UPSC does not write a paper in Hindi. They translate in Hindi. That's why a lot of time there are mistakes in Hindi translation. So this is they are saying how we can promote. First, prepare every teacher to be bilingual. Second, put language as a mandatory qualification for jobs, education, whatever may be the case. And next, multinational and corporate should use more and more local languages, which does not happen. Everyone is clear? The issue, the suggestion, the significance, anything you want to ask or comment. No one? Okay. Then we will move to the next thing. This is very important. It is linked to the news we just studied. That's why I have included National Education Policy. I again say very, 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 very important. Please do read this. It is a replacement of Education Policy in 1986, TSR Subramanian Committee and K. Kasturian Committee report. It is based on these two committees which established by the government. They give certain recommendation. Based on that, we brought a new education policy. Do not learn this policy, but do know very significant point about it. Instead, there is a criteria for regional languages. Yes, you are right, Nitin. But even that, there is a problem. No? There is only one paper. Most of the statements, that one paper hota hai. One paper you have for that language. Rest is English. If you want to qualify, a lot of people without knowing the regional language they can pass state PCS because they score very high on other papers. Language they score low, but in other paper they score very high. They easily pass the paper. Anyway, so this committee has suggested that foundational pillar access. Access means these are the 4 essence. Please do keep this pillar in your mind. Whenever any place, even in interview, if they ask, what we should do with the education in India to improve education, you will say increase access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. Bas. If you say these 5 words in the even in interview, then the 100 marks, complete marks will be given. Same goes in anywhere you go now. Please, for education, remember this. Access. Access means just because you have a school in your neighborhood does not mean you can go there. There are various criteria. You must have capacity to go there. A lot of students who wants to study cannot study because they have to fulfill other requirements of the family. So access is first thing. Having a school does not guarantee access. So this policy focus on access. Next, equity. Equity means just because you can go to school, it does not mean you will be equally treated there. This case you can understand in case of women and scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, OBC, whatever may be the case. These people do not have. They can get enrolled into the schools and colleges, but the way they're treated or the way they get access, family reason or society or that's a different thing. Okay, that's equity means. You all should have access to school with equality. No one should be denied access to school. Next is quality. Why we are discussing quality? Because ASER survey. Anyone who has ever heard of ASER survey by NGO Pratham? सुना किसी ने? Anyone who has heard about it? नहीं सुना, किसी ने नहीं सुना. That's peculiar. देखिए quality. The ASER survey, please, if you are, I believe you are making some side notes, please read one to National Education Policy and this report. It is published every now and then. You have to know what is ASER survey's report. 2 or 3 points. One point is this report highlights that education system in India is dysfunctional. By all respect, it is dysfunctional. This report emphasized that a student in 5th or 6th cannot do a basic calculation of 1st and 2nd class student. Basic calculation I'm talking about, just a plus, minus, divide and multiply wala thing. Okay? So access, everyone should be able to reach school. Equality, everyone must be allowed in the school. Just because you can get to the school, it does not mean you are allowed also. So you must be. Quality. Going to the school, having admission, going to the class does not mean you have a quality education. So quality should be there. Next, affordability. This is the criteria for a lot of people. A lot of people want to study, but they cannot. That's why this committee we have written, TSR Subramanian and K. Kasturian. This committee has said that it is a national shame. It is a national shame that we cannot provide completely free education to our students, our people. Future education, I believe, is the right to everyone. Last is accountability. Of course, accountability of all those who are engaged in the sector. So these 5 pillars are clear: access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. Anyone with any confusion?
So can you please explain equity again?
Equity, okay. Last, देखिए access तो सबको समझ में आ गया that you can get to the education institution. Equity means you should not be denied access, means admission. based on your religion, caste, gender, whatever may be the case. Whatever may be your caste, religion, gender, you must be allowed to get admission. That's equity in access to education. Clear hai? And
Got
it is last. Accountability, then basically everyone who is engaged in the education sector, from your block development officer, your education officers, your teachers, everyone, principal, everyone must have accountability. Means fixed accountability. If you cannot, for example, a teacher does not come on time, that must be punished. But having studied this, what is the fundamental problem in our education system is teachers are treated like a paid laborer. That is the fundamental problem. They treated like paid laborer by the government. कुछ भी हो रहा हो उन्हें लगा देते हैं. Anything that may be happening with the country, they use the teachers. For example, if corona is there, vaccination, let's close the school, have the teacher do this. If elections are there, let's close the school, let election happen there. If government survey is there, let's close the school, let the teacher do that. That's the problem. The only role the teacher should do is teaching. Judge a teacher by teaching only. No other criteria. But our teachers are used like a paid laborer. Very pathetic condition they have. I always say we do not need a Superman to fix India. We take India to Amrit Kal, we do not need a Superman. All we need few things which exist, but will is not there. Will. Only thing that we need is will on the part of the politician and conviction on part of the people to force the politician to do things. First is teachers. All teachers should be given proper salary on time, most important. They should not be used like a paid laborer for vaccination, survey, census, anything government things, elections, whatever may be the case. Clear as suppose the issue and why this policy is there. Then we will quickly look at the provisions. That was the most important point. Please, I am saying it again that please cover this policy in detail, including criticism and limitation. It's a survey. Actually, you are asking. It's a survey by NGO Pratham. It's an NGO Pratham which published Quality of Education survey. It is something assessment survey of education, something like that. This survey talks about what is the quality of Indian education. It comes every now and then. Please do cover 1 or 2 points, and if there is any survey, I will also cover it. Clear, Pawan? जल्दी से look at the provision 1 or 2. The public spending, we will increase expenditure by the government on schools to 6% from 4.5%. At this point, a good study that comes to my mind is Amartya Sen. I think I must have talked about this. Amartya Sen, the Nobel laureate. I told you first problem with the education is teachers, considered like a paid laborer. Second biggest problem that Amartya Sen highlighted is presence of schools for rich and poor. Now, what is the problem? Why I suggest that there should be free compulsory education in same place. Means you may be Ambani's son or Riksha Puller's son. Both should be at the same place. Same school they must should go. Why? First thing, this will dilute the elitist thinking. People have this elitist thinking. These are the people who are below our standard. That's the biggest problem in Indian society. When you have power distance, some people think they are superior than others. Then it means a society runs for power. A society that worships power can never have a good governance. And a society that does not have a good governance has malnutrition, hunger, poverty, rape, murder, everything starts with you and me. If you worship power, then everything follows. Everything is a subset of that. For that, Amartya Sen suggests first thing that there should be one school. In every locality, there should be a school, and both rich and poor should go to that school. With this, first, they will learn the brotherhood, that everyone is Indian. Second thing, what happens currently is because the rich people have their schools and education, schools and hospitals. Rich people have separate schools and hospitals, world-class schools and hospitals. Because of which, it is known to everyone, including the teacher teaching there, that the poor people's student come to the government school. And the problem with that is if a teacher is nakara nikamma, if a teacher does not want to teach, then the student cannot do much. his or her parent does not have the capacity or time or knowledge to fight for the rights of that student. But a rich person can. Imagine this, you are a teacher in a government school and you know that any of the student in your classroom could be the son of the education secretary himself. Then you will be very vigilant. You will come on time, you will teach properly because you don't know that the student sitting in your class can complain to his father and your job will be lost next day. So, समझ में आ रहा है? Why we should have one school for everyone and one hospital for everyone? Everyone clear? That is Amartya Sen's idea. If we really want to deal with the problem of rich India and poor Bharat, then we have to do this. That's why, if you remember, recently Highway Minister has said, India is a rich country with poor people. India is a rich country with poor people. That is the essence. Nitin, boards का थोड़ा सा issue अलग है. देखिए, these two issues we all can agree is an issue. The board is different because state thinks that they have to promote their own way of education. They will, for example, Tamil Nadu wants to promote for NEET issues. You know, it's a medical entrance exam. State like Tamil Nadu does not want to be part of it. That they have different reasons because they believe that it basically put their student at disadvantaged position. And I believe so. Imagine this: even there, if you look at Delhi government school, they are way well. They have proper building, lab, everything. Look at Delhi school; they are way better than any school you will find around India. Look at UP Bihar; they do not have the building, let alone the school. They have a board with the students still even today's time studying in on the floor, sitting on the floor and studying in the government schools. Education is a big problem. I hope everyone understood. I have discussed in detail this very important thing for essay, for governance, for ethics and interview. Okay, then I will quickly do it. Next is Ministry of Human Resource. वो हो गया, नाम बदल चुके हैं हम. Digital education पे we will focus. Why will we focus on digital education? We all understand because we live in a digital world. If you remember from earlier current event class, we did discuss an idea of social media radicalizing people. That is the thing. Next, primary education, another important point. Have you ever heard of Anganwadi? Anyone? Everyone has heard about them. They are the backbone of India's nutrition. Remember this. The way they get a few people I am naming, ASHA. ASHA is accredited social health activists. They are the backbone or the foot soldier. They are the foot soldier or the backbone of India's health system. Similarly, Anganwadi are the backbone of India's nutrition, though they also provide preschool education. What is preschool? It's a place where you send your kid to be prepared for the school. That's preschool. For example, you have the means ke pehle pre-exercise, pre-exam, then means. So before facing the bigger challenge, you have to face the smaller challenge. Preschool prepares the kids with basic idea so that they can reach to school properly. Entry to the school is smoother. And that covers 3 to 6 years of age. The current structure education that we have is 3 to 6 years is preschool. That is basically covered by Anganwadis. Again, the biggest problem is all Anganwadi. The way teachers are treated like paid labor. Anganwadi are treated like a burden. It should not be. India's Anganwadi, they do not have infrastructure, do not get paid on time. Everyone interface in their work. They do not have any education, training. If I'm telling you, even if we just empower Ashas, all Ashas must get proper training, incentives, and other kind of social security. Same goes with Anganwadi. Do these two things, and I can guarantee you that India will jump in all surveys. National Family Health Survey, Happiness Index, all survey that we talk about. India will jump. Most of the problem can be addressed. सबको समझ में आ रहा है why I am talking about? Because Ashas are the foot soldiers. एक मिनट, सबको पता है ना what is Ashas? Is there anyone in the class who does not understand that? अच्छा, Ram does not understand. देखिए, Asha Ram basically you will Asha Ram, okay, it becomes a name. Ram Asha. Basically, Asha is accredited social health activist. That is, you will study as a part of the social issues as well. Health में, the health infrastructure में, you have every village has some ladies who's they are hired for providing basic medical services. Like they go to house to provide medicine, to know who is pregnant, how they can avail all the facilities. These kind of things they do. Asha workers, yes, Kashish, Asha workers. Even today, the Asha workers are engaged, for example, this vaccination, corona vaccination. They went to villages, and they vaccinated people there. They are our foot soldiers, and we treat them like paid labor. Polio, yes, bilkul same. Polio is an example. Corona vaccine is an example. They are our social fund workers.
So this Asha Foundation, they are qualified in something, or is it generally a pool of people who are taken into this?
Again, this Asha Foundation is different. I'm not talking about the foundation.
Then Asha workers, these Asha workers,
Yes,
they are
Asha workers.
they
Yes,
qualified
they have
in
a
something?
yes, of course. I have to teach them medicine. No? There have to be some qualification. Then depends on state. State controls them. So state to state it varies, but largely you can understand at least 10th. Largely, I'm not saying absolutely. At some place 8th is also accepted, but largely 10th class must be passed. They have basic literacy. For above that, they are given basic education. They are linked to a hospital. What happens is in an area there is a hospital. From they are linked. What they do is they go to village, house to house, go there, understand if they have any medical problem. They, for example, if there is anyone pregnant, if they have taken polio shots, if they have, for example, corona vaccines, and they report to their main hospital if this is the issue, and their medical officers, chief medical officers.
Right.
Clear now?
Right, sir.
Very, very, very important. I'm telling you, rather than giving that class security to the Prime Minister or Chief Minister, give them salary. If you give Asha salary, it will help the people of India more than the Prime Minister, Chief Minister of the state. Ashas and Anganwadis, they are the prime thing. Asha, Anganwadi, and teachers, school teachers I'm talking about. These three people are taken care in the country. Most of the problems are taken care. Clear to everyone?
And Anganwadi, you said that they take care of preschools, basically teachers in preschools. Where does the nutrition come in this aspect?
Basically, the case what happens is in every area, I think you must have also Anganwadi in your area. There, what happens when a student goes, the small kid, what they do is they provide food also. Government provide provision of food to basically most of the Anganwadi, who goes to Anganwadi is basically the poor people, the rickshaw puller, the laborer. Their kid cannot get the proper preschooling. No? So they go Anganwadi, वहाँ पे क्या होता है? The Anganwadi person that give a basic understanding to parents also. How you can uplift your kid, what kind of education that kid can get. Basically, it's a very good starting point, especially for the poorer of the poor. Nutrition, education, information. Clear?
Right.
I'm telling you this point, you can put anywhere. Interview, essay, ethics paper, your governance paper, anywhere. If you want to suggest measure to improve India's socio-economic indicators, without anybody put Asha, Anganwadi, and teachers. It is always acceptable. Clear to everyone?
Right.
Chalo. Ab jaldi se there are few provisions we will look at. यार एक घंटा लगेगी. It's a very important news anyway. So 100% enrollment ratio, okay, done. Coding, internship, and vocational study will start from class 6, done. Child's mother tongue is a constitutional requirement. Article 350A of the Constitution provides that every children up till class 12, that is primary, must be given education in mother tongue. That's a constitutional mandate. Okay. Baki, there are numerous provisions you can study. For example, integrating preschool and Anganwadi years. All these are indicated here. The Council for Higher Education, you can read it by yourself. Most important is this part. This is the new pedagogy structure. So far, we understand education. I believe all of you must have degree at least. So you must have gone through the system. What we have is, we have preschool. Then we have schooling, in which you have primary. Primary is up to 5th standard. Then you have secondary up to 10th standard. Then you have senior secondary up to 12th standard. Then you have your degree, depending upon 3 to 4 years, whatever may be the case. then you have your master's, then you have MPhil, and last PhD. This is the structure of education in India. So what we have done is we have not touched this part. It is a higher education. We have touched this part. Now this part has been divided differently. This is the old division of primary, secondary, senior secondary. Now we have divided this in a different manner. How we have divided? The new division is we have divided the 5 years of foundational literacy means up till class 2. Up till class 2, it is known as foundational stage. Up till class 5th, from 3rd, 4th, and 5th, it will be known as later primary or preparatory stage. From 6th to 8th, it will be known as upper primary, and 9th to 12th, it will be known as secondary. So difference is clear. The earlier classification and the now recent classification of education in India. Everyone.
Right.
So this is a new division of educational system. A lot of good provision. I will just again suggest. After that, I will move to next news. Very important. Cover in detail. Anyone has a question, please ask. Then I will move to next news.
Sir, where will I find this PDF? Is there in the website or
Portal.
do we have? Right,
Portal.
chalo, got it.
Portal पे आप ये after the class में they upload a YouTube link as well as below the YouTube link you have a link for this.
Right, got it.
बोर्ड पेपर का देखिए इसमें the state has to accept. It also removes the classification. Basically, it's a proposal yet to be accepted by the states. The proposal under the policy is the proposal. Let me look at that also. देखिए the proposal is that currently after 10th you have to adopt stream science, commerce, arts. It does away with this. Now there is no need to adopt science, commerce, art. Everyone have same subjects. After that you can choose whatever line. It's a good thing. Why it is a good thing? First of all, it will reduce the pressure on students. Second thing, for example, in 11th you took arts. Basically, in current case, then you cannot go for science after that. Maybe you don't know. Natural aptitude comes every time. A lot of you students must have BTECs. BTEC and UPSC are way opposite. UPSC is arts basically. It goes through arts. But a lot of students who complete science, who have been 11th class from science, BTEC, MTech, whatever may be the thing, and then they come for UPSC and study political science, humanities subject, arts basically. So it's about person's liking. It can change anytime. A lot of people change their career midway, becomes an IAS officer, take VRS after 10 or 5 years, move to academics, become professor in Harvard and someplace else, and somebody becomes Neta. So everyone has a different calling. Keeping that in mind, we have tried to do away with this also, this mechanism of science, commerce, and arts. But state has to accept that. तो देखते हैं as soon as it is implemented. Clear, Nitin? चलो. Now come to the next news. देखिए प्रधानमंत्री Development Initiative for Northeast region. Basically, it's a scheme. And I've told you, whenever you read a scheme, what you have to cover. First, what is the scheme? In this, not much. 2 to 3 provision. The main 2 to 3 provision. Do not go in deep details. Then why that scheme was brought. Next, limitation. Any limitation you have in mind. Limitation / criticism. And next, what should be there or way forward. What should be there or way forward. These are the dimensions which you have to cover whenever you hear government scheme. What is the scheme, why it was brought, what it addresses, and what it does not address, this limitation criticism. Then what should be done in this context, and what that is the last thing, what should be done. So these are the things you have to cover. Now, with that context, we will look at this news. Basically, it's a scheme for the development of Northeast. The scheme per se is not very important. For prelims, this news is important for prelims at most. Mains mein there will be no direct question on this scheme, but mains mein there will be a question from this topic. The question will be regional imbalance in development. In pre, you may have this scheme directly, where there will be a question consider the following statement about PM divine. After that, there will be 2 or 3 provisions that it talks about this, it talks about that, it talks about that. Then selections. You have to pick the right answer. Mains mein question will not be on this scheme directly, but the question will be on regional imbalances in development. Why we have some state as developed, some state as not developed. Why we have this mechanism? There are numerous reasons. Numerous reasons. 2 of the reasons that I can point you to is, one is RRT curves, and next is resource curves. First thing first, do you have any idea about these 2 things? RRT curves and resource curves. Anyone has heard about this? Economics. It appears no one has heard about it. No, Nitin, it is redistributive resource transfer. RRT is redistributive resource transfer. Okay, let me give you a glimpse. I cannot go in detail in this class, otherwise it will take an entire 2-hour class. So, what is RRT curves basically means? It's redistributive resource transfer. Basically, it's a state. For example, there is a state called Tamil Nadu. There is a state called Bihar. Tamil Nadu gives 1 rupee to the central government, that is the union government. Union government gives, for example, 2 rupees to Bihar. Bihar gives 0.5 rupees to central government. Tamil Nadu get 0.7 rupees from central government. So RRT, if you look, this is positive. Bihar is giving 0.5 rupees to the central government. And these are taxes basically. The taxes collected from the people of Tamil Nadu, like income tax or corporate tax, they are basically imposed by the central government. So, state like Tamil Nadu, the state which are developed in India, largely southern states, they also are some of the western states, they give more money to the center than they get from the center. On the contrary, state like UP and Bihar, which are politically very powerful but economically deprived, these states give less to the center and get more from the center. This is because of this theory argues RRT curves. This is called as RRT first thing. सबको RRT word समझ में आया? What is redistributive resource transfer? Okay. So this is RRT. Now, what is the problem? Let me take an example of your family. For example, your father takes all the money from all the sons. Now, मान लेते हैं there is son number 1, son number 2. The son number 2 is an IAS officer. The son number 1 is an activist. You know, the activist who oppose the IAS officer basically. Okay, this person gives money to the father collects money from both the sons. And then father gives the money to the son one. Why? Because for a father, both sons are same. He will not distinguish one son just because they are an IAS, other is an activist. Both are doing what they like. He loves them equally. So, but what happens? Because one is an IAS, he earns well and has a stable life. Other is an activist, he's a revolutionary. He likes to bring change in the society in another manner. He's a revolutionary basically. So he may earn less, a revolutionary of course earn less, a government servant will earn more vis-a-vis activist. So the father will take some money from his IAS officer and give to the other son. This is what union does. Union acting like a parent, it take money from all the states and then distribute to the states according to their needs. Not according to their contribution. Remember this. According to their needs. Bihar, state like Bihar need more money to develop itself because it's a backward state. The problem that is seen is, that is why it is called as curves. Why? Because it is seen the people who get more money from the parents, the kid who get more money from the parents is the spoiled one. It's very obvious now. You people are studying here. If, for example, if I assure you that you will become an IAS, you do not have to study. I will get you passed. Would you study and sit this in this boring class? बताइए आप लोग बैठेंगे इस बोरिंग क्लास में अगर मैं आपको गारंटी कर दूं आईएएस बन जाओगे? कोई नहीं बैठेगा. ठीक है? So the thing is, that's what happened. When you know somebody is giving you money, your father is super rich, you do not have to work. Mukesh Ambani's son never have to work in his life. He is already a CEO. Why would he care? That was the problem has been seen. It is seen in economics that the state which get more from the center do not get efforts to generate the revenue. Bihar get more money from the center. That's why Bihar government does not take much stress from taking money from the people. Reason, if they take more money from the people, for that they will provide more services to the people. Otherwise, income will not increase. Income will not increase. Bihar government will not get more taxes. को समझ में आ रहा है? A bit difficult concept, but are you able to comprehend? Anybody के जैसे समझ नहीं आ रहा, this is your responsibility to tell me. I cannot see your faces here, so I have no idea whether you are understanding it or not. Center, देखिए center, whatever center, of course center is biased. Nobody's basically what like RRT, I believe everyone understood what is RRT. Why we call it curves? We call it curves because the state, it has been seen, the state which get more money from the center, it does not have to work to increase its own revenue. Because government of Bihar, if government of Bihar thinks that it is getting less from the people, from taxes, from business, whatever may be the case, but it does not worry. Bihar government has 100 rupee expenditure. It gets only 50 rupee from its own state. But it does not worry much. Why? Because 50 rupee will be given by the center. So it does not have to make effort to generate 50 rupees. But imagine this, if Bihar is a alone country and Bihar may only 50 rupees, the expenditure of Bihar is again 100 rupees, but it gets only 50 rupees from the people, from taxes, business, whatever may be the case, then it will take efforts, it will do efforts to ensure that it get at least 80 to 90 rupees out of the people. For that, it will do what? It will open businesses, it will allow businesses to work, it will provide more jobs so that people income increases, they will buy more, so people will produce more. Now is it clear, Priyanshi? इसी को हम बोलते हैं RRT कर्व. सबको क्लियर है व्हाट इज RRT कर्व? Okay. Next is resource curves. It is seen in some states like Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and all. What is seen? Basically, it is derived from Africa, the entire continent of Africa. It is seen the people who have more resources are the state does not take efforts. Same logic. The way here is government of Bihar get money from the center, now it does not worry about increasing its own revenue from the people. Same what happens is when there is a government which can sell natural resources of the country to get the money, it does not burden the people. It is seen largely in African countries. Why African countries are least developed? Their leaders are ultra rich, but the people are ultra poor. Because the government of those states does not care about the people, they do not have to invest on the people. Why? Because they have resources, natural resources, minerals and all. They extract the resources, sell the resources, and get the money to work the government. Why they should care about the people's governance? Clear? Both have same essence but different name. Clear, everyone? Okay. So this is the one curve. So basically, this is the point you have to read. It is nothing. PM Divine is basically an effort to promote what infrastructure project in the northeastern region, because our northeast is not developed as per other standard. But remember, every state in northeast is not the case. For example, Sikkim. Sikkim is a very good state. Sikkim is a developed state in India. Northeast, it is a part of the northeast, but still a developed state. So not all states are bad, but a lot of states, especially your state on the extreme of the northeast. Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, and all, they have various infrastructure problem and all. So to develop infrastructure for social development, for increasing livelihood opportunity, and close gap in development across range of areas. Well, work on school, hospitals, various places are there. Government will build infrastructure. In a summary, this scheme is to build infrastructure in Northeast so that the regional imbalance we have in Northeast vis-a-vis mainland India can be bridged. And for this scheme, the target date is 2025-26. It is 100% centrally funded. This entire money shall be given by the center, and it is implemented by Ministry of Donor. Donor is the Ministry of Development of Northeast region. Clear, people? Please tell me. Any question you have in mind? Essence is clear. Logic is clear. Why we are bringing this scheme? What is the scheme? So उसके बाद let's have a break. उसके बाद we will do the remaining news. Okay, cool. Cool. So we will meet back at 3:45. ठीक है? 8-minute breaks. छुट्टी नहीं लेते. We have some. इसके बाद की news बहुत important है. जैसे कहते हैं NPA news. Very important for economics. Yeah, we have to cover today. So, we will meet at 3:45.